Today's Gospel is from Luke chapter 10, verses 1 to 12. After this, the Lord appointed 72 others and sent them out ahead of him in pairs to all the towns and places he himself would be visiting. And he said to them, "The harvest is rich, but the laborers are few. So ask the Lord of the harvest to send laborers to do his harvesting. Start off now, but look, I am sending you out like lambs among wolves. Take no purse with you, no haversack, no sandals. Salute no one on the road. Whatever house you enter, let your first words be, 'Peace to this house.' And if a man of peace lives there, your peace will go and rest on him. If not, it will come back to you. Stay in the same house, taking what food and drink they have to offer, for the laborer deserves his wages. Do not move from house to house. Whenever you go into a town where they make you welcome, eat what is put before you. Cure those in it who are sick, and say, 'The kingdom of God is very near to you.' But whenever you enter a town, and they do not make you welcome, go out into its streets and say, 'We wipe off the very dust of your town that clings to our feet, and leave it with you. Yet be sure of this, the kingdom of God is very near.' I tell you, on the great day it will be more bearable for Sodom than for that town." Evangelization and mission. Jesus exhorts his disciples. The harvest is rich, but the laborers are few. So ask the Lord of the harvest to send laborers to do his harvesting. There is a tone of urgency and also a sense of vocation, of calling. It is the Lord who sends us as laborers in what, formally speaking, is called mission or evangelization. How are we to evangelize? How are we missionaries in our society of early 21st century Australia? We can note that this is a task to be engaged in peacefully, as the Gospel says. Whatever house you enter, let your first words be, 'Peace to this house.' The urgency of the task is at the same time the importance of evangelizing with the greatest respect for those whom we encounter. Evangelization can be implicit or explicit. Implicit evangelization bears witness to the Christian gospel by our lives and actions. Explicit evangelization bears witness through actively sharing the Christian faith with those who have invited us to do so. In our society, evangelization is more often implicit. As Pope St. Paul VI reminds us in his great document Evangelii Nuntiandi, Proclaimers of the Gospel of 1975, this implicit witness can be very powerful. I quote, "Above all, the gospel must be proclaimed by witness. Take a Christian or a handful of Christians who, in the midst of their own community, show their capacity for understanding and acceptance, their sharing of life and destiny with other people, their solidarity with the efforts of all for whatever is noble and good. Let us suppose that in addition, they radiate in an altogether simple and unaffected way their faith in values that go beyond current values, and their hope in something that is not seen and that one would not dare to imagine. Through this wordless witness, these Christians stir up irresistible questions in the heart of those who see how they live. Why are they like this? Why do they live in this way? What or who is it that inspires them? Why are they in our midst? Such a witness is already a silent proclamation of the good news and a very powerful and effective one." End quote. Explicit evangelization, sharing the gospel and Christian faith with others, naturally presupposes some willingness or readiness on the part of others to hear and consider what we have to say about our faith. There'll be times when we're with family and friends that are the right occasion for this. In the workplace, this is less likely, although it can happen. A former neighbour of mine, who is now, as I hope, with God, a committed Uniting Church Christian, once spoke to me about his own experience working in a dealership of a major car company. Sometimes, when workplace tensions developed, he was able to remind his co-workers, there's such a thing as forgiveness. Forgiveness is, of course, a fundamental theme of the Christian gospel, a theme he was able to introduce into his workplace in a discerning way. Both implicitly or explicitly, we can be labourers for the Lord of the harvest.